As a founder, how should I treat the money that I put into the company in the early days of the business?
Founder or founders start a business. They're paying out of their own pocket to build the website, to build the initial MVP, minimum viable product, to get it to the point where they can go and they can start to raise money from angels, institutionals, and then what do I do? Do I pay myself back once I have money? Do I count it as an investment? The truth is, a lot of times we tell our founders you don't necessarily have to decide right away. We can keep track of the money that you're putting into the company. You can paper it as debt. And you basically say, I'm putting so much of my time and energy into the company. I'm also putting a lot of my money into the company. I want to have sweat equity. And once we start to make money or raise money, I want to be able to pay myself back. It's too much risk for me to put everything into the company. So we would paper it as debt. When investors come on board, this is going to become a point of negotiation. If you put in $20,000 and you raise a couple $1,000,000, are the investors going to mind if you pay yourself back? Probably not. If you invest $200,000 and you're raising $1,000,000, are investors going to want 20% of the company to go right out the door back into your pocket and not to building future value? Probably not. In those instances, investors will say, okay, you can keep this as debt, but it hasn't matured yet, and you have to wait until you either make a certain amount of money or raise a certain amount of money, and then you can pay yourself back. And it just kind of sits there, hopefully, until the company achieves a level of success where you can reimburse yourself. On the other side, you can paper it as an investment. And oftentimes we would paper it as a safe, either on the same terms as whatever your first safe financing round is, or put it down on paper right away, maybe with a 20% discount and what's called an MFN, or a most favored nation provision. In other words, you get the benefit of whatever the most investor friendly terms are in your next safe financing round. You're making it equity. If the company raises money, it'll turn into preferred equity. A lot of investors really like this because they see a founder who is not just putting their time and energy and blood, sweat, and tears on. They're saying, I'm putting my money where my mouth is too. Let's put in the safe and let's let it ride.